And welcome everyone once again. It is Tuesday, and it is time for our Mesilla Valley News Sports Podcast, brought to you by Instant Copy Imaging. As you know, we are live on the patio at the Amador Live and Eatery and Entertainment District. I'm going to get that right one of these days. But yeah, as you can tell, outside it is a gorgeous day out on the patio, so we invite you to go ahead and come on out and join us. But today we're going to be talking with Athletic Director of Mayfield, Alfred. But before we get to that, let's catch up a little bit about what's going on here with some of the sports stuff, because there's a lot going on right now. As you know, we are in the middle of and I wouldn't say in the middle of, we're at the beginning of what is usually a long NBA playoff season. And of course, a pair of teams took some 2-0 leads. The 76ers are up on the Brooklyn Nets 2-0. And I believe that they had Philly in there as well, going 2-0 over the Kings. Let's see. No. The Warriors were over the Kings, and they had a really good game tonight. Last night, but tonight, this happened. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. Okay, we're down. We lost the first game. We're playing again tonight, and if we can get a rebound, I'll be a happy camper, because that's what got us. Did not get us that game the other night. But the Suns are playing host to the Clippers tonight, and of course, the Knicks are visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're going to be playing right now as we speak. I believe that. New Mexico State is going to be taking on the Lobos tonight over at the baseball complex. They won the first game up in Albuquerque 2-0, and so they'll be playing tonight to go ahead and see if they can get another win tonight. Stanley Cup playoffs are going off as well right now, and I know that tonight they've got the New York Rangers playing the Devils in Newark, and the Lightning face off against the Maple Leafs. And then in the West, Winnipeg Jets are in Vegas playing the Golden Knights, while the Seattle Kraken battle the defending Stanley Cup champions, Colorado Avalanche, in Denver. And just in case you kind of missed this, new head coach for NMSU football, Jason Hooten, making some more moves, and announced yesterday that Payne Andrews will be making the move from Huntsville, Texas, to the city of the Crossers, and he will join the Aggie staff as an assistant coach after serving as the director of operations for Sam Houston's men's basketball program during the 2022-23 season. So lots going on right now, and we got to go ahead and bring in our guest today. And Alfred, welcome to Mesilla Valley News Sports.
Gino, appreciate it for having me.
Oh, not a problem. It's we've been having I won't say a tough time, but it's been hard to get you guys coming in, because I know the high school sports are busy.
Definitely so. But I'm glad I'm be able to be here to help be on the podcast.
Okay, well, let's get to know a little bit about you, Alfred. You are the athletic director over at Mayfield, right?
So correct. We call us coordinators. Our true job.
AD sounds really good on the resume, doesn't it? Though
it does. It sounds a lot better. But we are actually coordinators at the high school, because I also have an assistant principal title.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and of course, you're basically, I guess you could say, coordinating all the sports at the high school.
Correct. Kind of coordinate everything that we got going on at Mayfield, including activities, which pretty much I oversee. So athletics, activities, make sure everything at Mayfield High School, when we're hosting events there on our school sites, is there, situated, taken care of, receiving teams, all those things. And then thankfully also Las Cruces Public Schools has the Field of Dreams, baseball complex, softball and soccer and football. So those venues tend to take on those sports. And so this spring here, we pretty much kind of just take on tennis directly at the high schools. That we have there, because softball and baseball play at the complexes, track is over there, and then golf is at golf tournament, at golf courses. So we don't really host any of them directly at our site either.
And that's a shame. Wouldn't it be nice to get out on the course every once in a while?
You know what? It would. It'd be nice to get out there with them. So,
well, just trying to get that so we're not blocking your face anymore.
Okay.
Well, how long have you been the AD over at Mayfield?
This is my 7th year as the athletic coordinator at Mayfield High School. I've been there as an assistant principal for 8 years, but this is my 7th year in that position. Been there, though, for this is my 26th year at Mayfield High School. Started way back in 1997 as a teacher, and went through the college times there and got my degree. And then all of a sudden, 2000, give or take 2015, is when I stopped coaching sports and took on the job in 2016 as an assistant principal.
Yeah,
I was grateful to be at Mayfield.
Yeah, and you've got a quite a history in your sports area as far, which would make sense when they made you the AD there.
Right.
But talk a little bit about what you've done in those years.
So over those years as a teacher, starting off back then, I taught physical education. I taught special education within the math area, and those are my two main areas at that time. And again, I coached several sports. Coached football for about 17 seasons there at Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also coached track. And I don't really say I coached baseball, but I was able to support at the time. Henry Carrillo was our baseball coach around 2007, and helped him out a little bit on the baseball side. But again, I really helped. I really didn't coach a lot of baseball.
You went basically you carried the equipment, went after a lot of balls.
I did that. The things that I had strengths in is I was able, I did a lot of weight room stuff, and a lot of that was a lot of my background with also coaching football. Is I ran a lot of the football program and the weight room items, and so I kind of helped on that end. And we did some stuff that he had planned, and at that time Henry Carrillo let me kind of do some things that, but he had the plan what he wanted to do, and I just, that's all I did. I was just out there as a body and stood on first base and told kids to come back.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. Getting the kids in the weight room is a very important thing, especially if they want to go on play some college ball and get that, because maybe some people can look down on baseball players because they're just basically standing out there. Okay, most of the time that's how the game goes if you're lucky, but. You got to keep up with the strength. You got to keep up with the endurance, and a lot of the stuff in the weight room really does help out with that.
Yes, it does. So, yeah, Gino, that was a lot of coaching, teaching through all those years, and again, the other background I had, which helped me be an athletic coordinator, also is I officiated wrestling for many years.
Oh, wow.
Got to do that. Never really great at officiating. I mean, we as fans would always say officials don't really know what. But I'll visit that back here at the end of our podcast a little bit about some definite needs in our field of activity and sports that we definitely need to get some help on. But again, and I did some aid, and so that was a good times. Again, just kept me busy, especially when we'd come down for at the time very successful football seasons. We're in the state championship almost every year, and then I needed something to kind of unwind down from that kind of a commitment. So I came to wrestling and officiated wrestling a lot during that time, and then I did track in the spring. So it was one of those things.
Yeah, but and you keep it busy with that stuff too, and one can make the joke about how much the officiating teams really need a good optometrist, and we can always get to that. There's always a good ref joke in there. I'm going to tell you right there.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. And are you originally from Las Cruces?
I'm not originally from Las Cruces, but I moved here in 1992 again to come to NMSU, and moved down. I grew up in Ruidoso, New Mexico, and went down there, and then I moved down here. And then I started school and been here since. So okay. Las Cruces is home. I've been here a lot longer now than I was here at Ruidoso. I like to go back and visit. I got a lot of family back there, but overall, this is called home now, Las Cruces.
No, I can absolutely relate to that, because I think I got here a couple of years after you did. 1995. In the fall of 1995 is when I moved here, and the same for me. I've been here longer than I was at home, and I like to go home and visit every once in a while. I love my family right there. I give them a weekend or two every once in a while, but always nice to get back. And one of the reasons that I like to get back here is because of days like this. Here we are in the evening sitting down. There's a little bit of a breeze out there. We're kind of sheltered from it. But out there, it's gorgeous, and you got to be happy about that, especially when there are days in like February where it can be like this. And I mean, as far as a plus for sports and athletics in general, that's definitely got to be something that's really nice about Las Cruces as compared to Ruidoso does not get this much sunshine.
It has its different change of weather for
It does
sure.
indeed,
A little
yeah.
colder, but Las Cruces is great. It's definitely to me for year round. I know this time of the year, the wind, the swing sports
Yeah.
always, but so it's still it's a good place to be able to be, and the weather is definitely generous to us all the time.
Absolutely. Well, we had this conversation last week about the wind, but the wind is always going to be here around this time, and that what you deal with it, you're fine with it. You take a lot of allergy tablets, you're fine to go, man. Because I know
you'll be good.
Yeah, because that's what I said last when I moved here. They failed to inform me that this is pretty much the allergy capital of the state. And if you remember back when I moved here in 1995, the radio station was out by the river.
Yes.
So
I remember.
It's out by the river. Whatever's growing out by the riverbed, all of the phones that are out there. The wind, and there's nothing blocking that wind where the station is, where our transmitter was at that time. So yeah, it was a very interesting first few months allergy wise when I moved here in the fall. So that was that.
Yeah.
And my roommate had a cat. Cats and I,
I've heard that. I've heard you mention that you're a dog lover yourself. I am
indeed a dog lover.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind cats. I like cats, but my nose does not like cats at all.
That type of dander, right? Yeah, just get you.
Yeah, and you know how cats are. Oh, I'm going to sit on your face. It's one of those things. But you fall in love with the place, and then you just end up staying here.
Definitely so. I mean, career, coaching, teaching, jumping in, and then for me, it was getting ready. Again, stepping in with Mayfield and a story program already, and started coaching with Jim Bradley and the Bradley family, and so that was a great opportunity, and then be able to compete in what we were at the time with the 5A level, and then we moved to 6A and then back down and stuff. So little transitions to that, but competing against Las Cruces High those times and Oregon Mountain. So it was Oñate at the time, but early on. But a great place you fall in love with, the community, all the way giving, awesome people in the valley. Mayfield being in the North Valley, well, we tend to be the North, but it's still a great valley.
Much has grown and changed up there in the past few years. It used to be that Mayfield was just out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Now there's houses all over it. In fact, our good friend Ernesto's up in that area up there as well, all by the field. I mean, even if you think back about the history of all that, the Field of Dreams wasn't there. There was nothing over there.
Yeah.
So
back when it first
started. When it first got started, there was nothing up there. But you see how much it's grown. And you talk about the storied history of Mayfield and what they've done. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is the Bradleys and the football program. And of course, we now have another Bradley as a head coach.
We do. Coach Gary Bradley taking over at this point in time. And so we're excited to see what changes he can bring and what stamp can he put on Mayfield now. I mean,
well, every Bradley has definitely put their stamp on there, and I'm sure Gary's got a few things in mind to go ahead and make some changes right there. But it'll be a good thing. I'm looking forward to the season. I think everybody's kind of hurt a little bit, I guess you could say, as far as the play. Or the championships. We're used to getting the gold.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about that.
Yeah. We used to.
If it's not Mayfield, it's Cruces or even Oñate or Oregon Mountain when they were coming up. We're used to getting some gold right there, and I we'll get there again, right?
Well, we're I think again with Mayfield's situation. I mean, we're at the 5A level, where the other three high schools are in the 6As now. I think again, the unfortunately, nothing bad towards Centennial themselves, but again, I think the school was built prematurely for our community, and it really really stretched athletes, and so now that group, I think that's what's really will it come back? It will. We're going to have to figure out ways. How do we compete, especially in each class now? The 6As, they got to figure out how to compete with right now when it's Cleveland, Rio Rancho. They're the dominating. They got the biggest, some of the biggest schools. It's them. then you got Volcano Vista, and those schools are all big. Hobbs, very large school, one, but when you're dealing with Cleveland's kind of dominated now with and they're in the Rio Rancho area too. So, and they only got 2 high schools for that part of the community, and that they're still big.
It's going to make a difference right there. But I feel that we will actually be able to go ahead and come back, and it will grow. I think that, of course, maybe we didn't grow as much as we thought we were going to grow when they were building that high school. And then, of course, pandemics definitely slowed everything down right there. So everything's kind of not crawling back, but we're slowly getting back to where we were. And if you talk to people in the housing market and everything like that, things are slowly getting better. Hopefully, economically, Las Cruces can continue to grow and everything else. And you get more people, more students, more athletes, and it's going to come back right there. That's what I believe that'll happen.
It will. I have faith in our community. I have faith in our student athletes and our students in general. I mean, in our schools, we have so many great kids. It's amazing what, when you go in there. I always call it seek the good, because I love watching sports, because that allows me to go seek the good and find things, find kids, and have those extra conversations with them. But I agree with you, Gino. We're gonna get back, and we're gonna get back to winning some NMA blue trophies out there. So that first place.
Oh yeah. Oh, somebody's going to get their hands on them. I can guarantee that. And when you talk about, we talk about football and coming back like that as well, but there's a ton of different programs that you are watching over. And a lot of people think about football, they think about basketball, but there's just so many other things that are in there, including your volleyball. And if I recall correctly, even a variety of men's and women's, even on wrestling. So how many sports are you actually overseeing?
So there's 13 sports in general. So we get the fall sports. We know it's football, boys and girls soccer, and you got boys and girls. Volleyball, and then you got cross country, and those are your main. And we got boy and girls basketball, and then you got wrestling. And speak of wrestling, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then the spring, you got the 5 others there. So it looks like that's right there around that. I think 13 if I counted right, but who knows? But again, we oversee all those, and then we also oversee the activities. That's a lot of my job, and our other administrative staff are very helpful, and we all kind of help each other, and we got to supervise and be out at games, and we like being out there to see the kids too. So that's absolutely good. But,
well, when you mention activities, what kind of activities are we talking about besides the sports stuff?
So when we at the school site, we look at activities. We got everything clubs, everything club, and then everything that is also in their activity side. So some of the things that we got going right now is one of them real big that they don't really compete in the NMA. It's our Unified Champion School Special Olympics. That's a big thing that we do. The sponsors there are teachers. They run a fantastic program. So we host a big basketball program, and essentially it's about being inclusive with that. That's an activity that they're part of. They're part of our clubs and activities group. And then we have FFA, Future Farmers of America. Yeah. That's a big thing.
Mayfield they just had a big thing right now. In fact, did you take part in the donkey basketball?
I did not take part in it, but I was there present, supporting them, helping with the venue setup.
How many times did the rodeo clowns have to run out onto the court?
You know what? I counted in the times that I was there, probably a good 5.
Okay.
I mean, that kind of helps. Why they're running out there, but to me, it was entertaining to watch them do that. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We had them come in to talk about the FFA and stuff. So that was a whole lot of fun. So they're considered an activity.
Under activity, we oversee them, and that's one thing I help support. Again, there's so much to know and ins and outs, so I depend on a lot of the sponsors to really help us too, because there's just a lot to be able to be knowledgeable about. We also have our health occupations, social services stuff. It's called HOSA. That's a big program that we got developing there. Skills USA, that's a big one. It covers multiple items, but really big that we just got successful this week. And actually with our media program, there's some stuff that I'd like to, some state championship winning out of that. Cool, yeah. Our ROTC is also part of activities.
That would be part of activities.
We have a drone pilot training program that it does work. The drone stuff we're trying to get kids licensed and stuff like that. So that's kind of under our career tech ed, but also, activities because they do compete under marksmanship. So again, that's shooting targets and doing all that, and they're active. And so we really push those things
Oh, I bet.
to really work hard. And we got so many other programs. We got engineering. They did last year. They took the Governor's Cup in the engineering, which is like a first place deal.
Cool.
And then again, then we got band. We got all the music stuff,
Oh, yeah,
choir,
yeah.
orchestra, and then. Big thing now in our area too that's really growing across the nation, and the state of New Mexico's big, and MSU's got a big one now, is this esports. So this gaming, we got our programs too. We're trying to really keep
we had a couple of coaches on from the esports area, and the NMSU guys came in, and I was actually when they had a tournament up there a few weeks ago, was able to go ahead and check that out, because I was going to ask you about that. Would that be considered the sports, or would that be considered the activity side? So apparently it's on the activity side.
They're on the activity side.
They're on the activity
they
side.
are on the activity side of things. But again, there's a lot of NMA activities that can compete, and you do win a state championship. You have to go through the same pretty much process when it comes to academics. You got to be eligible. You got to be attending so many classes at 51% rules. All these things, they're still part of that in order to compete at those levels. And so there's still some things held up.
It's very interesting. When I was talking to this coach, I wanted to get your thought on this. The fact that the esports thing has grown so much that you actually have college scholarships out of this thing, and careers can be made out of this whole thing these days. And imagine the conversation as a parent that you have to get in your child and said, hey, 30 more minutes on the 30 more minutes on that game time. Right there. You need that practice time right there. I don't want you skipping on that. Don't you tell me you want to go outside. That kind of thing.
What a conversation would change right there, right? Gino? Especially on the athletic side.
I will tell you this. It was not the conversation that my mom had with me when I was playing video games back in the day,
Well, and I can reflect with my kids. It was something that I probably said a lot of times too. That's not going to help nothing. And it's one of those things. It's the gaming, and then there's also the magic games and the card, all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, I tell my son, until it makes you any money, you can't spend as much time with it. And he's kind of proved me wrong too, because he kind of sells some of these things off, just like these esports. They're getting a scholarship, so there's some money coming in, and definitely so.
I feel like I'm going to let my nerd flag fly just a little bit as El Paso Comic-Con coming in and everything else like that. Back in the day when Magic first came out, Magic the Gathering, which is a card game, a friend got me into it. And I had one of the original decks. Had a different colored border on there, the original decks. Right now, those cards are selling for crazy amounts of money.
I bet.
And I have no idea where that deck of cards went. It's somewhere probably in a box at mom's house or something like that. And I have no idea where it is. But, you never know what is going to be coming up on these right here. So
you do know. I mean, even that Comic-Con, you mentioned that, collecting comics, and shoot, and pretty soon you might have a good collector item.
I used to. I used to have a really good collection.
Yeah.
And then I decided I wanted to eat. And
you sold it, huh?
I sold all my comic books in 1992, 1992. Just before the big comic book thing hit in like 93, 94. So I sold them just a couple of years before that. But I will tell you that that all-you-can-eat buffet was pretty good.
Pretty good, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty
awesome,
good.
Awesome.
Those were my starving musician days back in Phoenix back in the day.
Wow. Some of the other items, I'd like to get to too, just to,
Oh, no, absolutely.
Put note on Mayfield is, we're the only high school with a automotive program still within the high school.
That's good.
That's an activity that we oversee. They work under Skills USA too, an NMA event. Our theater program this year, they're state champions. They did bring a blue trophy home, and they did it pretty much is the overall just theater, and that's costume design, lighting, sound, backstage crew, this whole piece to work together for them, and they're going to be qualifying to go on to nationals now. So
what were they doing? Do you remember
they had a play and they had some stuff, and
Okay.
I don't want to ruin everything by not knowing the exact names, but again, those are some of the activities though that I oversee and support. We kind of work with, and then the theater director, Mr. Eric Brecky, again doing a great job there at Mayfield High School. So, and then I think again, just there's many more clubs that we have that kids and again at schools. One of our major goals again is we want to graduate our students. So therefore, to graduate our students, we want our kids to participate because we know the data is out there that kids that are involved and participating and doing things, they got a more likely chance to do more in school and graduate and advance on, whether it's college, whether it's jobs, or whether it's military. They have those opportunities. And so, that's one of the things that Mayfield we want too. We want kids to participate.
And don't underestimate the participation and what it can do for the kids to get those activities in there, those extracurricular activities, whether it is, out on the field of the sports or any of the activities or clubs, because, getting out there, I'll put it this way. When the kids are taking part in activities, whether it's, theater or esports or any of the clubs that you've got going, or any of these things that, especially when there's a good competition, when there's a chance that you want to be the best, and a kid's competitive edge will come out like that real easy, no matter who they are. And when they're in these clubs and they're in these activities, they're not out doing other things.
Correct.
They're not out doing any of the bad things. And I think, encouraging our kids to get involved in, even if it is just a club activity, I think that's a great thing. Absolutely. Overall.
It is, and at Mayfield, that's definitely something we definitely want to see. And we do, we want to pride ourselves on those kids that are involved in multiple things and definitely encourage them to do so and make, again, it's that part too, helping, we're going to help them and Mayfield can help us all work together, to do the best we can.
Oh, absolutely. So, you definitely want to encourage all the kids to go ahead and get out there. And what else we got going on? I mean, that's a lot of activities, man. That's a lot of work for you.
There's a lot. Spring is wrapping up. So with the spring stuff, we just finished with the Skills USA with our media team. I think we got first place with our short film, I believe it is, on that one. That one just came back this weekend. And there's a lot of that going on. And but we got, between that and then we got our spring sports wrapping up. So softball's right here in the middle of the district. We're sitting third right now. We're competing for third. We got our big district game finishing up Thursday against Gadsden, and then we'll be facing Oregon Mountain next week in a triple and softball, and then baseball does the same. So we're going to finish up with Gadsden. We're setting a little further back in baseball, and then we got tennis going on right now, and then we got golf. Golf. We just got the whole stuff going on.
Well, the golf team has got to be low.
Absolutely, especially once it changed from that one Tuesday when it was like 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh yeah, that was harsh.
That's so crazy, but all those things, that's a still. I'm going to say it's still a small snapshot of what really takes place in a high school, but there's a lot. I mean, we do a lot, and everything we do is good. We got track and field; they're competing right now.
Yeah.
They got a couple more meets, and then we do the district meet and see who qualifies for state. And the state meets all kind of start wrapping up here in May, right there around the week of May 12th, 13th, 14th, and then the weekend right before that, tennis kind of gets going too. And so then the spring sports are wrapping up, and then we're going to hit right into the graduation times, right? So we hit graduation season here, May 20th for Mayfield. We're 6:00 p.m. at the Field of Dreams Football Complex, and we'll do the graduation at that time, and so that'll kind of culminate the senior class of 2023. Their senior year. So
yeah, I think I've got, and I hate to say it, I think I've got 3 kids that are graduating this year. Not mine, of course.
Okay.
Not mine. I saw that look on your face. No, I've got 3 family friends, I should say, or friends of mine that their kids are graduating, and it's really weird because these were kids I knew when they were born, for the most part, at least a couple of them. But there are 3 that I know that are graduating, and of course, looking to moving on. All I'm going to say about that is graduation every year. It's awesome. It's great to see the kids walk and get their diplomas, everything. But every year I see it, I feel that there's more and more of those white hairs and everything else just coming in, making you feel a little bit older, right?
They do, yeah.
You think,
a little more experience.
Yeah, you think about how many kids you've seen graduate since you've been.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
I can tell you. You know what? I think again, I see it the most is the time being at Mayfield for the number of years I have is again just to get to see the kids that I taught many years ago, and now I'm seeing their kids start off as a freshman, sophomore. That's when you start.
That's when you really start to feel it a little bit more. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you
absolutely.
Do.
Now let me ask you a question, because this is something we have to ask someone in the high school level.
Okay.
The schools recently switched over to a balanced calendar.
Correct.
All right. How is that affecting your sports play, or is it affecting it at all, or even does that give you a little bit of an edge, maybe because you've got? I know the NMAA is really strict on rules when you can do things like that, and not everybody, of course, in the state is on a balanced calendar. So how is that affecting how you run things?
So let me. I'm going to give you two answers on this side, because there's that part about like the other schools, NMAA, all those things, and then there's Las Cruces Public Schools. So as a coach, at number one, I know all our sports is you got to take advantage of it. You got to find a way successful in what you're doing with it, and there's some time off that the fall break is 2 weeks, and all schools concern is those 2 weeks that kids just maybe those kids that are the more different roles. They might have the main spotlight role, but they are a key role into the team and what they're doing. And sometimes they kind of take off on vacation or something at odd time. That kind of hurts. And I know our families have expressed in general that gosh, it'd be nice to, in those 2 weeks or whatever, for them to be able to take time off like all these other families are doing. But because you're in sports and athletics and activities that you can't go away, so you're kind of committed that way. So I think that's kind of perceived as negative. I know on the coaching side of things, it's definitely nice to have those time where you're just more focused on just maybe that sports side. You're not doing if you're a teacher coach, then you don't have to worry about that teaching side and having other students. Now we do have several contract coaches that again they work in the community, so they don't get that benefit at that part. Now if you're a teacher, you do get that benefit to be able to do that. So now the New Mexico Activity Association, they this couple of years ago, they passed just recently passed, actually not a couple of years, but recently they removed the 7.5 hours and essentially put the discretion on school districts. And so with that being done, it is a kind of it's another double-edged sword. So it really can't kids more in a season. It doesn't really impact us, Gino. But again, then again, compensation for our coaches too. Then our coaches are working a lot more, and the school's compensation is not going up because they gave you more time to go coach and compete. And so with NMA guidelines, so it's one of those things. But I know our coaches still love coaching kids and want to work with them, and that's what they're doing. But that extra time is a little maybe forces its competition still. A lot of parents want to see our coaches doing stuff, just like if other schools are doing things. It's like, whoa, come on, it is. There's also another part of that social media competition out there is it drives a lot of our parent thinking too, is when they see certain schools doing a lot more things, and maybe if school's not doing it, it might cause frustration there that why aren't we doing stuff? So, but the balanced calendar, as we do, I can't. It's voted on. It's done. You got to look at it and you got to plan well around it to help yourself and your program be successful. And then again, getting our kids invested with that extra time, because again, it's that extra effort to be there during those days and it adjusts.
Yeah, like I said, I can imagine that it's affected. When you talk about coordinating a lot of things like that, that's where a lot of that would come in as far as how everything gets coordinated, because like you said, you're in charge of getting all these things together when the games come up and everything. Although, like you said, kind of nice when on those couple of weeks where you are just concentrating on those sports and you're not worried about too much of anything else. That's kind of nice. but it would be nice to be able to take that time off, and I understand that one
Mhm.
for sure. So I guess you could say it is a double-edged sword as far as the balanced calendar goes. There's some good things, there's some bad things, pros and cons, just like everything else. And everybody's got to do their little bit of adjusting to get through it, I guess, right?
I agree, and I think let me add this, Gino, to it with our teachers and stuff. That I mean, those teachers, there's a lot that they at first, we're resistant, but I mean, kind of like it. Those breaks, kind of. I mean, the summertime coming up that you're going to see it. We start back right here. I think looking at the calendar here, starting up. Looks like we're coming back here on July 12th for our teachers.
Yeah.
It's a quick turnaround, but again, those breaks in between kind of help. And so again, I think some of them are kind of like that part too, but like I said, on the coach side, and my job too, we're still going.
Yeah.
Games still take place during
Yeah,
all
well,
these breaks.
from what you're doing and from your position, and a lot of the administration, quite honestly, the whole thing is almost a year-long thing.
Yep.
Even when you had those big summer breaks, you're always still worried about, hey, when is our season starting? When do we got to coordinate these trips? Are we going to have to get some buses going? Are we going to have to get the
Absolutely.
rooms going? Are we
Yeah.
going to have to get all this stuff going? So it's pretty much a year-round for you guys anyway.
It is.
So no breaks. No breaks, Rue. We'll just call you that.
No break route. It's just bottom line, as you said, it is you got to find a way to be successful with the calendar. Bottom line, it's just that you got to balance it all up to do things.
Yeah, to go ahead and get all that stuff done. Which
Yes.
is, and I can definitely understand the challenge. When my son was going to school, he actually was going to Alma, so they had a balanced calendar, and that was something that was interesting to get used to because he had a balanced calendar, but his little brother did not have a balanced calendar because he was going to elementary school at the time. So getting all of that stuff kind of coordinated on there was somewhat difficult for his mom, but they worked it out, and I think overall, for a majority of the students, and you'll probably notice this more on the student side of the student athlete, that those smaller breaks in between really help out with some of the retention and sometimes some of the enthusiasm for getting back to school because you get those breaks at those times.
Yes.
Yeah. But, sports-wise, you got to do what you got to do. It's basically what it comes down to, right?
Well, and we asked about the NMA. That their calendar is not matched. They don't adjust to us as Las Cruces Public Schools.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
therefore, we got to keep playing. It's just like spring break. I mean, and all this just finished up. Then we had the right here around the Easter weekend, that break that came up right here. But again, we still have games.
Yeah.
And that NMA calendar, we got to keep pushing if we're going to compete. And so again, that's that NMA portion that we got to adjust to be successful.
Yeah. And sometimes if some of these athletes are looking at moving on to the next level, sometimes it's like that as well, because in the college ranks, you don't necessarily get those holiday breaks or anything else like that. You might be playing the day before, so you might be playing Christmas weekend because there's a tournament that's going on that fall. Or if you're lucky in football, you're playing in December, or you might be playing Thanksgiving weekend and you can't make it home for that. That's happened to me a couple of times because I get the privilege of working with the Aggie football team, and I get to travel with them. And I've had to call my mom and say, "No, Mom, sorry, I can't make it for Thanksgiving this year." And this year I had to call her and say, "Sorry, Mom, I can't make it for Christmas.
Yeah,
I'll be in the frozen Iceland of Detroit this year." And she said, "Well," and then she got over it. It was okay.
Yeah.
I called her from the hotel room. I had my Christmas sweater on, so we were
able to
good.
And technology today, I mean, FaceTime, you can be right there with them.
Oh no, and that's exactly what we do. And in fact, I had to take half of my toys with me that I have up here because when this year they're going to have those mini games from Conference USA for NMSU. So I could be. There's only one game that I'm on the road in the middle of the week, but I still got to work. So I got to get my morning show done. So I take my computer with me, and I pretty much do it on the road.
Keep going,
and I'll be doing that, which is always actually a lot of fun. Unless that flight back, when the flight gets back at 1 a.m. and you have to be on the air at 5, that one's always a lot of fun. But once again, I follow the philosophy that my grandfather and my dad had all the time, which is deal with it. Got to do what you got to do as far as getting things done.
Right.
All right. And what else we got going on right now? Or I should say, when we do get to the end of the year and after that graduation, what is it like to get ready for those next years and next season?
Once we get all the sports schedules, and that's the difference of my job, as an athletic coordinator, I don't downtown. Ernie Vermontes is our district AD. So him and his staff do a lot of the actual true scheduling of things because of my assistant principal role. I don't do that. But we get the schedules, we get them all situated. We start looking at everything. I mean, we're getting scrimmages set up already. We're going to be getting, all the summer camp stuff that we prepare for.
Right, yeah.
So that's the other thing that we get going into things is we got summer camps happening and a lot of things. And I mean, right now, our football program is going to have their kids camp June 12th through the 15th. So we get them set up. We got boys, girls basketball. They're going to be doing some camps. And then our girls soccer, they do camps. So we just kind of get things situated going, getting everybody, geared up. And then, like I said, with school starting right away in July, there's just not much like it used to be. We used to get June, July, and then a little bit of part of August, maybe
little bit.
to really get things going. We don't get that time now. So the other things we're doing are trying to get as much facility maintenance taken care of when it comes directly to, number one, our gyms. Any kind of equipment additional that we need when it comes to athletics at our school site. Again, the Field of Dreams complexes, all those are taken care of by district level athletics. But anything at Mayfield, we're working to get things again, maintenance fixed. One annual thing that we got to do every year again is our gym floors, and that takes a good week or so. And we got the main gym and the auxiliary gym. So getting that coordinated, getting our custodial staff, everybody on page. And so it's just, again, a lot of schedule planning. And again, as our role, it's constantly that.
Yeah, you can ask Mario Mocha about the adventure of the gym floor, right? Yeah, we had quite an adventure last season, a couple of seasons ago, right, when they had to get the emergency floor in there.
Yes.
So I can imagine what all of that is going to take, and then once again, with that shortened schedule, you got a certain amount of time to get it in.
We do, and like I said, even shortened and trying to get with our kids camps, and then our basketball and volleyball programs, they hold some form of team camp, which is, again, all these high schools are traveling through the summer and competing, and again, we just kind of regulate what we're doing at our schools and make sure everything's taken care of. So it's just trying to manage, and my job is a lot of support. It really is. Support coaches, support what's going on, make sure we take care of things. And so those are the deals that we take care of on that with coming through summer. So we'll be busy.
Oh yeah. Well, once again, like I said, no rest room. So what else we got going on right now if you want to?
I think, again, just as we come down to finishing up again, we got the spring sports, those two big championship items. Those are big. We're finishing up, like I said, we got all the activities that if you have qualified for nationals, that first through third place, then you're going to get an opportunity to be going over to nationals. And so that's off in different locations. And so we got kids that are going to be doing that. A lot of kids got to do fundraising too for this. So our sponsors got to support that and take care of that.
Maybe we could get more donkey basketball games in.
That was a great thing for us. That was for me, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen it. And being in this area ever, I just have never have. I've heard a lot of different schools have done it. Carlsbad, done it. I think I heard Silver City's done it in the past, and maybe some other schools. But
I could tell you 30 years ago, probably even longer, because I was still in school. They did a donkey basketball game that my dad took part in, because I believe it was like the city police department against the SO, the sheriff's office. And my dad was playing for the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And my dad was he had his hat, he had his bolo tie, he had his cowboy boots. That was his dress. That was his uniform when he went in as a detective for the SO. And he could ride a horse. But as I'm sure a lot of people noticed, that when you're riding a horse and riding a donkey is two different things.
A little bit different.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to go somewhere and the donkey doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's what makes that whole thing fun. And I heard everybody had a blast, and it was just.
You know what is good? And all the competitors, the Doniana Fire Department, Doniana Sheriff's Department.
That's right, because it was a little mini tournament.
Yeah. And then they had a celebrity team, and then the Inimishu Rodeo was also partook in that. And again, it was in their rotation of things. I believe the Inimishu Rodeo ended up winning. But like I said, I think
they had a slight.
I think they had an advantage. I mean, again, when a couple of these mules began they're bucking and doing stuff. They rode them out.
Yeah.
And they did some breaking out there on the, breaking a mule there, but they did a good job. But overall it is good. Well ran for us. And again, the spectators, a lot of the spectators, our community came out. We get to have it again. We look forward to be bigger the next time.
And how much of kind of fundraising for these activities do you take part in, help out with?
You know what? For us, I don't partake on a lot. It's usually every program has support from a booster or a parent group that supports them. Like FFA has their alumni group, and their alumni group helps a lot. And so if they got a parent group, or if they don't, then it's just their direct teacher. And so they come up with things that they're doing. Obviously, being an administrator at a school, you get asked by kids regularly to buy things. And I mean, I try to support as much as I can, getting things to kids. But pretty much for me, I'm not directly involved in all those fundraising or items.
My guess is that you'd probably be more involved when it comes down to facilities. Like if somebody came up to you and said, hey, Mr. Rue, we'd like to put donkeys on the basketball court. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is definitely.
How was that conversation?
At first I had a lot. I mean, my initial questions was the floor. Don't have a floor that's removable, right? I mean, our gym floor is there and there. It's
there, yeah.
So my first one was hooves. What are these hooves going to do?
They put shoes on. They got basketball shoes.
They got their own their donkey basketball shoes that they wear, and so that was a conversation. And then we talked about about the poop, man. What are we going to do with the crap that they're going to put out there? And then what about pee? What happens there? And then but again, working together with our sponsor, and it's all, you figure out a way and you get things done and help them out.
Sorry, I had to ask about because the facilities thing is something that you would help coordinate with, and that would be something that would be going on there. But like you said, right now we're getting ready with the spring sports to kind of finish up. I think district right now we got
finishing up district play, getting to district tournaments. However, like I said, tennis is wrapping up district competition with their duels. Baseball, softball, district competitions going on right now. Golf's in, they'll have a district tournament, and then track and field will finish up regular season in 2 weeks. And then in the first week of May, we got the district track meet, and you can qualify for state for that. And then everything's qualified with track, field, and marks. So then you end up going over to the state track meet if you qualified. That'll be June 12th, 13th, that weekend. So those things are the big ones for me right now, and all our staff finishing up those things. And then, the other things we got going, coordinating my job too is, any of the graduation ceremonies that we have, any kind of award ceremonies, those things are tied to facilities, right? And if they're going anybody comes in town, they do something. We'll work with them every year. I know the Cruces Mayfield game kind of changed dates and seasonal times, but we still host any kind of alumni if they wanted any kind of reunions, and they request to do tours and stuff. We'll work with them too, and try to get those in and walk them through the building of the old times of Mayfield High School. And
then after that, it's just take a moment. Quite literally, it seems like just a moment, and then you're looking at the next season, and then there's so much to look forward to next year with the new season, new students, new players, new coaches. Gary's going to be coming up. Yeah. So you got a lot to look forward to in the future. Anything in particular that you're really looking forward to in the forthcoming seasons?
In the forthcoming seasons, I know, again, we're getting ready to hire a boys soccer coach. So we're going to see that, those kind of things. I think looking at our football schedule again, this is our, officially our second year. Can't count that COVID year of being 5A. But this is our official second year in 5A. So we're going to check that. Hopefully we get through there. It's a tough schedule with the 6A teams, but once we get to the 5As with our district, that's a tough one alone with that, Goddard, Roswell.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the schedule over his shoulder, and it's a harsh one.
It's a tough one, man. I think it's one of the toughest in the state to be. But
tough schedules build tough teams, man. You'll get there.
They do. They will. We just got to make sure we get there, and you got to finish to the end. And so, but we got I think those things we got with that season coming, really excited about that. A girls soccer program. I mean, they're just continue to do well and improve. And then we're, I think one sport we're looking for a volleyball coach right now. So that's kind of a little late, but it's still,
yeah,
still looking.
that's something in your job. It's like you hope you find the right person and you hope you get the whole thing right there. But that's a timing thing too, because you got to get ready for that whole season.
It is, and that one's still ticking a little bit. Centennial just hired on their change, and so we've been kind of with the process, and it's taking a little longer. But kind of our region, that's kind of been struggling. But that's part of my job too. We do the hiring, and we kind of take care of some of those things, and we're trying to find the right fits for us, and we're looking for those things right now too. That'll take us into summer, and like I said, that summer season is a season of its own. And then when we get to fall, school will begin in July, and a lot of teams are continuing to do what we call out of season training and competition.
Yeah.
So that continues, facility usage sharing, all that stuff that we do. And then August is going to be ready to kick things off. We've got volleyball kicking off too, there no matter what. All these sports are going to be playing. That NMA schedule brings us back.
Well, I look forward to getting you back in. We get some of those sports going and seeing how the team's going to go. Maybe we can get Gary in for a little bit to talk about how things are going with him.
Yeah,
and he's taking over the team and stuff. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But thanks for coming in. I really appreciate you stopping by and getting us up to date with everything that's going on with Mayfield and your job and what you're doing. Like I said, from henceforth we shall W Alfred No Rest Room. And that one we can go there.
Well, I think again, any athletic coordinator, athletic director, you mentioned Mario Mocha, these guys are all busy, man. Everybody's got no rest.
I have witnessed Mario I don't know how he gets things done. And his Rolodex or his contacts, his phone contact list has got to be insane because no matter where we go, he's got someone to talk to. He's got a meeting to go to. He's got people that he's meeting and talking with. And that guy is one of the hardest working people that I know.
Yeah.
And, I'm very appreciative for everything that Mario does. And,
Absolutely.
The same with all of you guys, everybody, all the ADs, Ernie Vertimus has been one busy guy for years.
Amazing.
So, all the work that you guys do, I think is pretty darn awesome because some people get it done. Right. And some people can go like, what?
Yeah, I agree. Well, there's a lot of times, but when you've done it, but I always revert back, back again, being a coach. Coaches do things and you find ways to be successful. And when you're good at it, that's something I rely on is that I learned. Had good mentors, but I learned that. And again, that really helped me in this job. So, down the line, I just hope, in our district, Las Cruces Public Schools, we're excited to hopefully see the attendance boundaries get relocated. That's going to really help Mayfield High School out, and down the line.
I think, as much as it's growing up in that area as well, and as much as Cruces is growing in general, they're probably going to look at that, and we'll see how things go.
Absolutely.
But I have no doubt that at some point in time, it's just going to be all four schools that are going to be competing with each other, and those Field of Dreams games when you get those inner city rivalry are just going to be awesome games to see and pretty awesome competitive because when you get one school that's doing well, it's going to drive the others to do well, and then you just a rising tide lifts all boats, as they say. So as the city grows and as we get bigger and bigger, I see that, and our winning ways that Las Cruces it was once dubbed. We'll get there, man. We'll get there back there.
Yeah, we'll get there with all our sports. There's definitely a lot of that still happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, thanks for stopping by. I really, really appreciate that. I can't wait till the next time we get together and we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on with Mayfield. But that's going to wrap it up for here this week with Mesilla Valley News Sports Podcast. And of course, we are here every Tuesday at about 6 o'clock. We'll get things started right here at the patio over at the Amador Live Eatery and Entertainment District. So come on out. And once again, of course, come out over here to the Broken Spoke. They've always got a lot of great things going on. Just in general with the Amador Live, they've always got some great things that are happening here. I know they just finished up their alfresco this last Thursday. So every month they do a little themed night. They had New Orleans out there. So you had your gumbo, you had your etouffee, you had all that stuff that was going to be out there. And of course, Max always has some great things that are planned I think he mentioned last week that pretty much every weekend they've got some bands, they've got some live music, they've got things coming out over here. And so come on out over to the Amador Live and check it out. And of course, every Tuesday, you are more than welcome to go ahead and join us out here on the patio for Mesilla Valley News Sports. Everybody enjoy their week, and we'll catch you in 7 days.